about this club talk for so long, so give me some slack because I might be a little nervous. But I just kind of want to talk about like what my life was like when I was your guys' age, and just share a little bit about me. So I came to Imlay City when I was in 7th grade, and I remember the first day of school. I was so excited. I was really nervous about what everyone was going to think of me, but I was also like really excited. And on the first day of school, I remember sitting in like the back of the classroom, and like me and Charity had different classes for once, and before we usually like had all our classes together in other grades before. And so that was the first time I didn't have Charity with me. And so the first day of school, I walked into the classroom, I had my purple zebra top on, I was all ready to go, and I remember sitting in the back of the classroom, and it was actually the health classroom, which I think you guys all know where that's at. And I remember sitting in the back of the classroom, and I had nobody to talk to, and everyone was walking around, because you know when the buses come, how you have like 5 minutes to walk around. And I had nobody to talk to, and I was just so worried about what people were going to think of me and people's opinions of me, and I was just really scared, kind of like I am today. And yeah, so as my quest to find friends, because obviously I was really scared and I didn't have many friends, I started to become super insecure about myself, and I was always worried about what people were thinking of me and that type of thing. And one example of that was one time I was sitting on the bus and I was talking to one of the other guys on my bus, and I don't really remember what we were talking about, but he kind of pointed out to me, you know, your hand is over your mouth when you're talking, and I was like, oh, and I realized like I was so insecure about my teeth, because at the time I had super crooked teeth, and I'm sure maybe some of you do at some point too. And I was like super insecure about that, and I didn't want him to see that, so I was like covering my mouth up, and I was just super scared because I didn't want him to like judge me, and I didn't want him to see my flaws. So kind of going along with that, there's actually a Bible story about someone in a similar situation, and so I'm just going to read you those verses. And this is in Matthew 8, and it's about Jesus healing a man with leprosy. So it says, when Jesus came down from the mountainside, large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Jesus reached out his hands and touched the man. I am willing, he said, be clean. Immediately he was cleansed of his leprosy. Then Jesus said to him, see that you don't tell anyone, but go, show yourself to the priests and offer the gift Moses commanded as a testimony to them. And basically what leprosy was it was a skin condition, and it was greatly feared by the Israelites, and not only because of the physical damage of the skin problem, but also because there was like a lot of strict isolation. If you had this, nobody wanted to be around you. And like thinking of the man who had that leprosy, think how insecure he must have been. And that was kind of where I was at. Like I didn't want anyone to see my flaws. I didn't want people to let people in and see kind of what my life was like. And I can't really pinpoint why I had such bad self-esteem at that time, but I was just super broken, super worried about people's opinions of me, and I knew in my life I wanted something to fill me up, and I looked to people's opinions, I looked to my sports, I looked to friends, and just nothing was filling me up or giving me that satisfaction in life. And that was until I found out that there was this awesome God that loved me. And during that time I'd grown up in church, but I started going to a youth group in particular, and the youth pastor there was just so awesome, and he really spoke into my life. And so I found out that there was this guy who like loved all my awesome flaws, he loved my crooked teeth, he loved everything about me, and that was just so exciting to me because I was such a broken person, and nothing ever really I never felt like loved or accepted. And sorry, my phone is going off. And so when I really started to make God personal and read the Bible, I stopped worrying about what other people were thinking of me, and God filled me and filled those holes that I was trying to fill in my life. So I want to read a verse, and this is Romans 8:28, and it says that, and we know in all things God works for the good of those who love him. And when you choose God for your life, he has an adventure plan for you beyond anything you can imagine. And just my life since then has been awesome, and so many opportunities have came up, and God's put me in different situations that I never imagined would happen. And once, going back to being insecure, once I put God in my life and those insecurities started to go away. Yes, I still have insecurities, but God definitely healed those. And instead of viewing myself in a negative way, I started viewing myself in a positive way because I knew I had worth in God. So one more verse. This is Ephesians 2:19 through 22. and it says, whenever you feel unloved, unimportant, or insecure, remember to whom you belong. And you guys belong to an awesome God who desperately wants to know you, and he wants to have a relationship with you, and he has unfailing love for you. So if you put him into your life, he can heal those wounds, and he has some awesome things planned for you. So that's it. Okay. Do you have any questions? Yeah?
Where did you get your case?
I got my case from the Goodwill, and actually it was on sale, and I got it for cheap. Okay. Any other questions?
What bus do you ride?
I think I ride 29. I ride the same bus as you.
Yeah.
I'm just usually dead in the morning. Yes?
Yeah, I seen you get off the bus this morning.
Yay, I still ride the bus.
And her.
Okay, so I'm just going to pray with you. Okay, Dan, do you have a question?
When do you read your Bible?
When do I read it?
Do you read your Bible?
Yes, I do. Sometimes, like in the morning, I have this devotional book, and it's called Jesus Calling, and it's kind of like from the perspective of Jesus, and they have a couple verses. And then I also have another Bible study I'm at, and we have like a little book, and I can read it before bed.
There's another question. I think there's another question. Go ahead, Brett. You're gonna ask.
You said God like filled those insecurities that you had.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that was like from praying to him or from like reading?
Yeah, I think it was definitely praying to him, and instead of like putting those problems to myself and like thinking about those, giving them to God and like talking about things. Like even though I didn't like have a lot of friends in middle school and I didn't necessarily feel accepted, like putting God into my life, he was my friend, and I did get to spend time with him. And he kind of like replaced my longing for things. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
What are you gonna do now, Bethany?
With my life? Well, right now I'm in high school, so are you saying like as far as what am I doing?
What is God calling you to do? Do you feel like?
I definitely really want to travel. I don't know how or where, but I want to travel. But I definitely am really into art, so maybe some sort of art career, whatever. I don't know. I'm not really sure yet.
Cool.
Yes.
Just a question. I do
Cool,
not
Anna.
have a question.
It's good. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Yes.
Wait, now I'm
Yes.
I was just thinking, does God answer every one of your prayers?
No, not at all. Well, I mean, like, I think God has his own timing, but not everything you pray for, God's gonna fix. And then, like, and also sometimes you can have unrealistic prayers too. Like, I could pray and be like, God, give me $1 million, but God's not gonna give me $1 million.
Why not?
But I mean, there is situations where God really has blessed me, and when I've really prayed persistently, God has blessed me in that area of my life. Yes.
Is everybody really nice at the high school?
No.
No.
Is anyone else here in high
There
school besides
definitely is
Bethany?
good people, and you can group yourself with good groups of people. So my advice would be to just find a good group of people, because even though I focused in my talk about kind of like not feeling like fitting in and stuff, like I did have a pretty good group of friends that accepted me and made good decisions. Okay, next.
When you say that, like, if you keep praying, would you still get that $1 million?
Well, I mean, you can pray all you want. I don't
Maybe
think
over your
you can get
lifetime,
really
but not all at once.
Yeah. Okay, well, if no one else has any other questions, I'm going to pray, and then you guys can go in your small groups. So, okay, I'll pray.